Oh, it's been a while. Hello everyone, my Kaiju here. So you're probably wondering where I've been in the last 4 months. It's just been a lot of schoolwork really. I'm in my last year of high school right now and I'm taking some difficult classes for college credit. So I haven't had much time to record videos. The last videos I made were actually around the beginning of my school year, and my foolish ass thought the difficulty of the class wouldn't wrap up. I was wrong. And not only that, any free time I had, I was putting it into commissions and playing video games, of course. So I haven't been working on personal projects as much, and I'd consider my YouTube channel to be a passion project. So yeah, I'm just sorry for not uploading videos as much. That being said though, it's winter break right now, and I'm spending time with my family, I'm working on commissions, but I also have ample time to work on passion projects. So here's that long-awaited video about animation importing from Blender to Roblox, in a Blender rig of course. While I will go over how to animate in this video, I won't go over the details of it because I'm not a very good animator. That isn't my specialization. But I will put resources in the description that I think will be good if you guys want to learn more about animation. But with the lore recap out of the way, let's get into the video. Okay, so I lied about the rig being the exact same. It's not. I added this like IK bone to the neck from the previous video. It's nothing too big. Increase the influence to a very small amount. Have the head IK here, and it can essentially make the character lean and look in a specific way. Sometimes it can be good if I need them to track something, like look at a dude right here, or look at something in the sky. Pretty useful. So yeah, just keep that there. So I do have an animation I want to import for this guy, but I'm just gonna go through some basic things I have in animation, just so it might help you guys. Might even make like a simple animation, but we'll see. So firstly, what is an animation? Well, animation is just a technique to make a model move in make an image move essentially. It comes in many ways. With 3D animation specifically, you generally have a model with a rig, move the rig around in a specific sequence of keyframes, and that animates them. So, good thing is because we have IK bones, the legs essentially lock themselves in one place. If I say I want to make this guy crouch down, I'll go to about this frame, just move him down a bit. Maybe move these legs outward. And now we play back. That's a really simple animation. It's not a really good one, but simple. And the more sequence of these you do, the more animations that will play. That's really all animations are. It gets more complicated. There's a lot of animation properties you could learn about. I don't know enough about animations to really tell you guys about that. But I can tell you what I do with my dev team in some games, what technique I do there, and how to get it to Roblox effectively. So first things first, if I can find it. Output. Yeah, okay. So the most important thing here that you want to look at is frame rate and frame range. Talk about this first. So frame rate, you basically want to keep it at 2430. This will change how much frame is in between your animation when you import. It also speeds up your animation. So let me load the attack animation I want to import. I think this is it. Oh yeah. So this is how it looks in 24 FPS. It's a bit scratchy looking, like a bit low FPS. I mean, it's fine. Once you import it, it will look smooth. But the reason you want to keep it at 24 is because when you import it to Roblox, 60 or above starts adding a lot of frames in between the animation. So if I change this to like 60 now, it's super fast, right? Because it was scaled to 24. We ended at 442 frames. What is that? Like You know what? I'm bad at math. Just put it at 48, right? So let's just put the end frame here. I'll change it back to 42 later. Yeah, that's fine, even though it's a bit buggy. What this means is this is a total of 2 seconds of animations with 24 frames per animations. So what that means is we have a total of 48 frames. If I change this to 60 FPS, I would need, for the same amount of speed, which in this case is 2 seconds, I'll actually save a backup real quick. 60. That's how I like to name things. This would have to end at 120 FPS. And okay, so you can just scale this up. I wouldn't recommend you do this, but you can do this. And this is the same thing, but it is so much smoother. And you might be tempted to add this to your game, and it's fine if you do it for like certain animations, but the issue is this adds, for some reason, Roblox starts adding a shitload of frames in between these. Which I guess is because they bake it out, so every single frame gets baked. So it's a total of like 120 frames that actually gets imported. So, and that adds a loads of fucking lag into the game. The Kaiju universe, actually, I think their lead dev told everyone like, "Yo, animate at 24 FPS so we don't blow up." So yeah, keep it at 24. If you wanna go above them, just do it. Be my guest is fine. If your computer can run it, it's no issues. And if you're animating for something like Moon Animation Editor and you're just recording a cool animation for a short or something like that, I think it would be fine. But in a game though, I would recommend you stay at 24 FPS. It's I've had dudes told me it's industry standard to be at 24 as well. So I guess that's cool. But let's reset this. It's cool, and now I'll make a new animation. So I might explain this later, but there's a reason it's called base please use. Every animation needs to come back to this when he attacks or something like that. So let's make a simple idle. How about that? Oh, fuck! I'm breaking my own rules. Hold on. Yeah, ignore all of these. This guy has run through many animations. This video was supposed to go out a lot earlier. I just got a lot of schoolwork. Never got to it. So here's what I do. So I have this base here. There's just one keyframe. I just duplicate it. Call this a video anim test 24. I like to keep it consistent with the frame at the end there, but you do you. Okay, so let's make a simple animation. Okay, editor Kaiju here. So in the next part of the video, I forgot to mention that before you animate, you want to be in the animation tab, and you want to be looking at the timeline. On the timeline, you'll see a little white circle. Turn that on. That is auto keying. What it does is every time you make a pose on the timeline, it will automatically make a keyframe for it. So you don't have to click I every single time you make a new pose. Yeah, that's about it. Alright, back to the video. Alright, so starting off with the animation, I'll just click I to generate the keyframe based off of the pose. So if you're, I don't know, sometimes it shows the option, sometimes it doesn't. But if you click I and it asks like, do you want to add a keyframe for location, rotation, or scale? I would add all of it, but just know that Roblox doesn't take scale animation, so if I scale them up like this, it doesn't transfer over in Roblox. Just know that. So I wouldn't mess with the scale. And that's about it. We can start animation now. Let's just make them look around. Make a simple looking around animation. Let's say that lasts 3 seconds, which in a 24 FPS render time, that would be 72 frames, I think. 24, 48, 72. Because 426 and 1, yeah. So firstly, what I like to do is just to copy the beginning frame and put it at the last frame, because I know this animation is gonna loop. And this is gonna get more important later in terms of like how to animate it looping properly, because it might look weird. So I'll just make him look around. Alright. So here it is. Actually, we can... Hold on, I'm dumb. Hold on. I made this for a reason. Let's use it. So, okay. I'm gonna animate it like this. If you click this here on any of the properties and make it animatable, what it means is it animates as part of the frame. While this like influence won't go over to Roblox directly, since it directly impacts the way the bone behave, it will be transferred. So animating it will have effects on the model. So after the first frame, since I wanted to look around here, so I'll put a 3 marker there. Now, and there. No, 0.3. And I want him to look this way, so just move this. And then now we can animate a few of his body pieces just to make this a bit better. Okay, this is looking a bit weird. Maybe I should have just animated directly, what the hell. So his head isn't actually part of the IK, it's the neck, because I wanted to animate the head independently. No, you can probably look into this a bit more, because again, I'm not very good at animation and animation rules. I'm going to trail the head a bit so his body looks before his head does. And there you go. He looks there for a bit, so I'll say I for 25 here. Let's say he looks one side for like less than half a second, because I don't know, maybe he's really precise with his looking. So half a second, 24 would be 24 divided by 2, which is 12. Let's say less than that as about 8 frames. So add 8 frames from here. 25 plus 8 would be roughly 33. So put another... I'll do this, right? I'll click I there so everything generates a frame. Goes to 33 and copy the same frame. So he looks there for half a second. What I would do is animate something in between this. Like, you don't want it to be the same thing, right? Maybe make him turn over there a bit. Actually, maybe extend this now that I think about it. Maybe make him actually just look there for a while. And then look maybe up there a bit. Rotates his body up so he's looking up on this side. Maybe tilt that up a bit as well. And tilt his hip a bit. Okay, that looks a bit weird. The timing isn't there. So I guess he has the... Yeah, so he'll stop. So this is the same frame. So I'll do this. Make him stop for 25 to 31. How about that? Maybe 33 actually. I like 33. Then he looks up for a few more frames. This should be extended actually to maybe 3 seconds. So that would be 96. You start to notice how when I'm animating, I'm doing more math than I'm animating, huh? Maybe that's why I suck at this. Also here, I again want it to be the same frame, so I'll just paste it here. And because this property was already part of it, it already animates. Only issue is, as you can see, the influence isn't really considered the same property. So here it is. This here, that's the influence keyframe. Let's just paste that here, just randomly, because I want it to keep effect until that point. I think that looks okay. Then from here, he might turn over here quickly to take a gander at the other side. So maybe we'll curve that. Maybe in the middle we'll make it out a bit so he goes in an arc. And that is way too fast. That's one of the properties of animation. Everything moves in an arc unless it's extremely robotic. And even though that's ironic because this guy is a robot, I want him to have a bit more life to him. Don't just move from point A to B. So maybe this might look cool. So see that? Eye, there, eye out on the viewport. Then I'll put it for a few more frames. Maybe here's hope. I don't know why it does that sometimes. When I paste out here, it's weird. If you guys know, put it in a comment. I don't know much about animation. Put it down. Maybe he looks down here. Maybe not that extreme, but whatever. And you know what? I'm lazy. So you know what? Just look up there for a bit, right? Longer here. And then maybe... Okay, so copy that. Look longer for about there. And from here, he looks in another direction. So maybe like down there. And he looks... and he tilts down a bit. I don't know why the torso aren't rotating really that much. And then we can make him look for a bit longer before rotating back. And you'd probably extend this, fuck it, 100 frames. It don't have to be in seconds. Like it can be a bit offsetted. I don't see an issue with that. I think it looks alright. Granted, the arms have like no movement right now. So maybe he moves this arm out of the way. Think about what your character is doing when they're animating. So it might help you with how you want to set up your keyframe. So so he's looking here, putting his arms up. Maybe he's ready to punch anyone that's coming in his way. So move his arm out of the way like that. As you can see, it's resetting right now because there are keyframes for each of these arms. So I would just select this, and what I would do is just delete them. So now they stick in this one pose and you have more freedom in your animation in terms of what you want to do. So he sees no enemy. He lets his arm down a bit. I think about this a lot when I animate. Thinking about like what your character's doing, why they're doing it. That will really help you to get a feel of your character, especially once you start getting better with animations. And it's going over here. And he does the same thing. And I would probably make him step around as well in the animation so he leans more from one place to another, but this is a simple animations. He's starting his arm movement too early, so what I would do is just paste this here, then add like an in-between frame for that animation. And then he stays this, keeps his arm up for a bit longer. Maybe for here, and then it starts going down by itself there. Add frame. I'll make it like that. Copy that. And there you go. And then it comes back to normal. Yeah, I would probably make him step around later, but let's just test this. It's also having the same kind of issues here, so I will make it so his arm stays up for a bit longer. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. So after that animation session, if you look at the Alex frame here, we play it. It just stops abruptly. And if you wanted to loop a bit more cleanly, what you can do is select all of the keyframes of A, and here, click Shift E, and then you'll see all these options. Click Make Cyclic F Modifier. Bit. That does nothing. All that really does is make it so your animation loops back here. But the good thing is that because it loops, this last keyframe here is essentially animating in preparation for the loop. So if you play it now, it might look a bit less abrupt. This might not always work. It's still a bit abrupt. Should be more clean like that. There's a lot of things you can do. I hear some people tell you to go back a frame, so like that. And let's see how this looks. Yeah, I guess that works to the human eye at least. Uh-oh. Oh no. I prefer to just keep it at 100 at the exact frame that I ended it at. But we have cool animation now, huh? Look, I'm looking around everywhere. There you go. We can export this. So you can export this exactly as it is. I don't think there's an issue with it. Because I think Roblox bakes it either way. But just so you guys know, when you import these animation and it looks off, like really off, like you feel like it's not tweening the animation properly in between each other, what you can do is to bake out the animation data exactly as it is right now. So what you can do is go into object mode, select the armature, click object, animation, and bake animation, and a few options will show up. So I would change this to pose, turn selected bones off, and start frame and end frame. I'm going from 0 to 100, and frame steps 1. You might want to change this if you're on like 60 or something to reduce lag, but it's not a big issue. I think Roblox bakes it. Either way, Roblox bakes it, they add more keyframes. So just do this, and now every single frame essentially has a corresponding data. So now the animation is completely baked out. Is that actually how it looks? I swear to God, that's not how it looks. It looked different. Wait, you guys see that, right? Yeah, he stops. You know, I guess that did something weird to it. Maybe you guys could have catch an error I made. But anyways, you guys can also just export it like this. If you export it like this, it should generally be exactly like this. But if it looks really weird, try baking it. That's basically what I always do. Not very professional, I know, but it works. But firstly, let's save this animation in Blender, right? We don't want to lose it. So we already have it here, and that's why I was on the dope sheet action editor. So remember right here. Then you click that thing right there. We have the base animation, looks good, and then I just duplicated it and add this on it. 24 at the end of this animation to show that it's 24 FPS. Yeah, right there. Save it, just click this. It should save in itself, but if you click this here, essentially what it means is if there's nothing using the animation, it won't disappear. Because sometimes Blender have the tendency to just not save fucking animations. So make sure you have that on so you don't lose your animations. That's cool. But the video title is how to import animation. How do we do that? Alright, I'll show you guys. So let's save this first. You want to click on the file up here. Scroll down to export. And you want to be, so I like to be in layout here. And I want to make sure that the animation I'm importing is the one that's playing on the timeline. In this case, the looking around animation. Oh, we fucked it up. It's okay. So export FBX. Alright, very important. So first thing you want to do is only select the armature. If you're exporting animation from Blender to Roblox using a Blender rig, you want to make sure that the animation file is armature only. No mesh, or else it'll import the model with it. Not very good. Transform. This is the default option. I will talk about the scale number later, okay? Just keep it at 1 for now. 1 will work for the models that you import to Roblox that's absolutely massive and you scale down, okay? Roblox automatically does the scaling for you. There used to be some weird things you have to use a plugin, but Roblox is just slightly more advanced now. So just keep it at 1 for now. I'll call this Strikers because that's his name. Or just Striker. Looking around 24 FPS. Scale 1. There you go. That'll be the name. It's cool. You don't have to use the underscore or anything. I just think it looks cool. And it helps sort it out a bit. Geometry. You're not messing with geometry. You're not even exporting geometry. Armature. This one is essentially the same thing. These are the default. I don't mess with that. Only turn off add leaf bone because it add lag. And animation. And this is where it gets important. Turn off NLA strip and turn off all action. This does weird thing. NLA strip is like, think, it allows you to animate multiple things and play multiple things layered on top of each other. So, yeah, I don't mess with that. All action basically exports all of the animation at once, but I think it causes some issue because when you import it, it'll be like the first animation in the stack on the action editor, so not very good. Sampling rate, I don't know what this does. I think that might be how Roblox does things. Like how much of these should actually get imported. Just keep them at 1 unless you want to lose frames for some reason. Simplify, and this is where it gets important. So personally, if you're animating at 24, turn simplify to 0. Simplify will essentially make the animation less laggy in its own, just by like deleting a few frames that is a bit redundant, or simplifying how the IK bones kind of move. I always turn it off, and the issue is, for like what it does, like the primary thing I find it doing is just making it so the IK of the like leg not plant itself on the floor. Like it will play and it will just start moving slightly. Just not a lot of movement, but it will still move. And if you ever imported an IK animation, like a rig with an IK bone on its leg or something, and it just starts shifting around in the animation, that's how you turn it off. Turn off simplify. I usually don't mention simplify because I generally always keep it at 0. The only time I might not is when I'm animating at 60 FPS because it starts adding so much like lag taking this down. So simplify is important, but 24 FPS, man, I'll just say 0. So click export, and now we're done in Blender. So I'll see you guys over in Roblox. Alright, here we are in the studio. Holy shit, working bed? Damn, I can sleep in here? Oh yeah, anyways, this is a new studio because the old one, I used it for some dev thing and it was jam-packed of stuff. So these were the same models from the Blender rigging video. Blender rig importing to Roblox video. It's a pretty bad one, I'd say. I didn't explain things too well. But I did make a follow-up video where I literally imported things properly, and I showed how the scale things work out. So this is actually the old scale. So this was like the super big one. I can actually show you guys. I know, okay, so someone in the comment did tell me that you can reset it by clicking this, right? That messes up with how the animation imports. I tried it. I might try again so I can learn it a bit more, but it fucked things up and I didn't like it. But basically, yeah, this was what it was, and I scaled it down to that size. That's it. This one, however, and this will be the one I use in my game, is it's like the same thing as this. I scaled it down to the size I want, copy this scale number, and re-import it in Blender. That's all I did. So I'll show I did export more than I showed in the other clip there, but I'll show you guys what I did later. See how the animation looks on this model. So avatar, animation editor. Why is it selecting this guy? And oh, I guess it's I already showed you guys that. Whatever. So you want to import animations? Go here. Oh, this might be in different place. It might be like right here for you. I keep it down here, like right where the output should be. If I don't have output on, I think it's pretty good. Just wider. So click here. Just any of this empty box, or click the 3 dots. You see a bunch of options. Go to import from FBX animation. Click that. My Kaiju League 2.0 network is gonna go crazy, by the way. But okay. So for the models that were really big and you scaled down, you want to import the animation at 1, or at 1 scale, which is the default one. In this case, this is the looking around animation. I have the scale corrected and scale 1. I'll explain this later. But click this. This is what we exported. Click open, and now an option will show up. This might take some time, actually. Wait, hold on. I'll put it here because the text is blocked. This might take some time depending on what FPS you export it at. I did it at 24, so it was super quick. But you see this model in FBX file differs from model in selected editor. Import animation based on FBX model, recommended, FBX or selected. Choose selected. Do not choose FBX. I don't know. It messes up this the model if you do this. Maybe there's some scaling things that might change it. I don't know. But I might learn more about this later. But for now, choose selected. And boom. And I think... What the fuck? I don't know. That does not look like the 24 FPS frame. I might come back to that later. But let's look at this. That looks good. Wait, hold on. So I actually did re-import this. I lied. What the fuck? Oh, damn. Maybe Roblox just actually like add a frame on each second. But okay. I think I know why. I think it's because of simplify. I turned off the 0 amplify here. Simplify, and it's so long, so it just adds a shitload of frame. So I guess simplify is the reason it caused that. But as you can see, the foot stays planted. If you turn simplify up to 1, which is the max one, it might shake a bit here. It's not a big issue. And personally, if you want less lag in your game, do it. Which I guess is a bit hypocritical of me to tell you guys to not render 60 FPS, but then turn simplify all the way down, huh? Like what? Are we picking unoptimized or optimized? What's the thing? But I digress. That's up to you guys to choose. But here's the model. Looks cool. The animation is playing as well. Yeah, that's cool, right? I forgot. What was it? K, J, L, fucking V? There, V. V is to turn off the bone so you can see the model without the bone obscuring it in the default animator. And as you can see, this looks cool. But like he's all red. It looks like the Among Us imposter. Doesn't really look that cool. I'll save this. Sure. Name probably change it as well. Let's call this look around 24 scale 1. Nothing big. Save that. Close it. So that's cool, right? Now, how do we get into this one, which we re-imported with this scale number replaced in Blender? Well, it's the same thing actually. You basically import the animation, but you use this other scale number instead of the scale number of 1. So let's look at that right now. Okay, so here we are in this new one. What the fuck? I don't matter, we're gonna import it anyways. Okay, so let's import it. Same thing from FBX animation. Yeah, screw that. We'll use the correct size, which again is the same thing. I just changed the scale number. That's all. So let's put that in. I don't know why they're different kilobytes. Now that I think about it, they should be the same. Well, whatever. Let's try it. Okay. Select it and plowy. And boom, it plays the same. And if we always look at the leg IK or the foot IK, whatever you want to call it, because if it shakes, that means the size must be slightly different. But it doesn't, so it's good. And yeah, that's basically how you import animation from Blender to Roblox from a Blender rig, imported into Roblox. And I think this looks pretty good. I don't know if I'll use this exact animation in the game. He will need a looking around animation due to like what I want him to do. But I don't know, I just don't really think the way he looks, he needs to look more quickly and more aggressively. That's his character. It's supposed to be very unstable. And yeah, that's about it. And pair this up with some specific camera techniques. You can actually get some really cool looking cinematic animations with a Moon Animation Editor. If you guys have played Monsters Battlegrounds, that's actually what we did to set up the Awakening attack system. If you guys want, I might make a video about that. It's about the same thing. There's just like a placeholder bone for the camera. Maybe I'll show a little animation at the end about it. But, yep, that's about it. Oh, and you guys may also notice he's floating off of the ground right now. The other model doesn't do that. And this is because of the root bone, actually, if we look at here. Because when we re-import it with the correct size, it's increased the size of the root bone for some reason. If you want to fix this, you cannot scale down the root bones, actually, so that's the sucky thing. But if you want to fix this, you can set it so the rig's origin is either at the hip of the character or literally anywhere that isn't like going to touch the bounding box of the character, or at least the bottom bounding box. That's the best way to fix it. Now, I don't have this issue with this character specifically because, well, he's not going to be a playable. He's going to be an AI, and I'm planning to use attachments and linear velocity to move him around. And I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe that just like grabs an attachment. Like I can place it anywhere here, and it just moves that attachment. It doesn't actually move the model; it moves the attachment. That in turn moves the model. So where his foot is planted doesn't matter because that's where the attachment could be anyways. I can just put the attachment a bit up. So I'm fine with that. If you want to make this, let's say your character model you're planning to use as a playable, like as something the player would play with a humanoid, that's even simpler. Than you have hip height. You just mess around with the hip height to get the correct one, and you're good. Yeah, and the only reason you reset it to one scale this way is so the animation imports properly, but also so there isn't a bug when you play around with the character. I might be able to demonstrate that in another video actually, but yeah, that's about it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry that I went inactive for nearly half a year. Really hope this video is useful for you guys. Like, the purpose of this channel is while I don't upload much, I hope that in the end, these content end up helping you in some way or another. And if it doesn't, then feel free to put your complaints in the comment so I can read it and fix my content accordingly. That being said, though, I also mentioned in that like community post I did that I am planning to make more than just these tutorial videos, and I was a bit conflicted on making this video. I wanted the next one to be an animation project, but honestly, in the end, I just didn't have time to do that. And I do see that some of the like tutorial videos are popping off, and that's what led me to make this. I really didn't want to like leave you guys with a rig and then no animation. But with that being said, I do plan to make more videos. When? I don't know. Like, I'm the motherfucker that would say I'll plan to do something, knowing full well I'm not going to do it. But at some point, maybe some cool animations. I don't know. But with that being said, thank you for watching and have a great night, everyone.